MMA brothers and sisters. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk MMA. Holy shit, I put in a lot of work this morning to put this episode together. There's a handful of topics that I kind of chose. I try to keep these kind of short. I'm just starting to do this. We're trying to get the community together and whatnot. But there's a lot of topics that I did want to talk about. And let's start with my favorite one, but let me introduce myself. My name is Raul. Check this out. I got a couple new things. If I can make it work. Boom. 1% better every day. Now I got a name tag. I got my little intro going on. You'll see a couple more photos and other things that I got going on. I watch MMA everything. A lot of the media that I'm sure a lot of you hardcores watch and all that good stuff. I watch it all. So there's a mixture of things that I don't like, and I'm trying to bring forward what, if I was to watch this, I want some videos, or I want some pictures, I want some things moving around to keep me entertained. So 1% better. We're going to do a little bit better each time. Another thing, obviously, Rated 101, we do shirts, we work with fighters and that type of thing. I typically am already wearing a shirt. This is for Ant Doe, Mr. Antidote himself, fighting out for one championship. So little by little, you'll get to know a lot of what I've done. If you look at the channel, I've been doing it for a while, but really the shirt stuff is really what keeps me busy. But I do love doing this. That's why I want to keep doing it as much as I can. I'll keep having other guests. I'll have fighter guests. I'll have coaches, all that fun stuff. But let's get this started. So my very first, let's start with my first kind of main topic. Obviously, you guys probably want to go with what is the most big thing? What's the big story? And for me, it's Khabib versus GSP. So here's the deal. I kind of wanted to make this last week, but then Nas ended up being able to do the video with me. And I just want to kind of spit my thought about this, see what you guys think, see if you agree, disagree. But I think this is going to happen. And let me tell you why I think it's going to happen. So if you guys remember GSP early on, when he retired and all of that, he said he wanted the Khabib fight. Didn't happen for, I'm sure you guys know the different reasons, from they don't want him to fight and then maybe win the belt, then bounce because he only really wants the one fight. So he retired. Everybody was like, he might be back. And I think we all know he'll be back if they offer him something good, right? Now, if he does come back, he has to get back into the pool. So there's a couple moving parts here, but let's just stick with the basics. Looking at I got my phone here, so if I'm looking down, please forgive me here. But as far as the lightweight division, Khabib already has gone through a lot of the big names, but even the names that he hasn't gone through, you can kind of figure, well, I might not get too excited about that because he's going to take him down and do the same exact thing. We really need to see high caliber grappling to combat Khabib. So if there's a striker, which a lot of the lightweights kind of a little more striker heavy, are you going to get excited for it? Not really. So just kind of looking at it, Tony Ferguson, right off the bat, that needs to happen, right? That needs to happen. If anyone may have a chance versus Khabib, I think we all can agree Tony Ferguson is probably that guy. At the very least, we need to see it. What's that going to be like? Now, going through that, obviously we got Dustin Poirier. He just finished him. Conor McGregor, even with those guys, I kind of see a lot of the same. Remember, Khabib, we don't really know how many more fights. I figure if there's a challenge and it's going to be big, he's down. But if the challenges start kind of going away, I don't really think we're going to see him for too long. So let's see. Donald Cerrone, stand up for the most part. Eloquente, he already did that. Maybe he wants to give him a rematch. Who knows? Kevin Lee, actually, because he's just kind of a fairly big guy, wrestling is his kind of base. I would like to see it. But even that, are you guys going to get excited for that? Maybe not much, right? Why would he get a chance when he hasn't even beat some of the guys that are ahead of him, right? So it just wouldn't make a lot of sense. So my point being is Tony Ferguson for sure. And if anything, unfortunately, he might get leveraged because it sounds like Dana White already saying, the GSP, maybe. So if he's already given that, he's willing, if the numbers make sense, so on and so forth. Um, since that's kind of possible, they're going to probably leverage Ferguson, lowball him, and if he doesn't take it, they're going to try to do the GSP fight. Hopefully, they make it happen because Ferguson definitely needs to happen. But what I'm foreseeing here, and this is my kind of grand point here, Khabib's running out of opponents. GSP only wants to come back for something big, which he already said was Khabib. Something that's going to add to his legacy. Dana, Mr. Uncle Dana, already giving the, yeah, I'm down. So it's going to happen, right? Y'all tell me if I'm missing something. This is going to happen. When? I don't know. And at what weight class? I don't know. My whole thing was with this, it's going to happen and it needs to happen because they're both at the end of the road. So don't worry about GSP winning and not fighting again because Khabib doesn't really have that many fights either. So you going to tell me Dana White isn't going to try to make that money? Of course he is. So I'd like to hear what you guys want are kind of thinking about this. Will this fight happen? I think it's for sure. It's just a matter of time. You know, we got to just kind of see how things shake up. But I'm truly excited for it. I won't talk about the fight quite much yet because I am curious. Will it be at 155? I think it will. I think GSP wants that third belt. I don't think unless they did like 165 and introduce a belt. But even that, do you think they're going to introduce a belt to someone who may not stick around? Probably not. And if anything, just kind of, knowing Mr. Dana or whatever else, he's never really been too happy with GSP. When he left 170, dropped the belt. He won the 185, dropped the belt. So I would say if he's going to make this fight, he really wants Khabib to win it so that he's the best ever. And bringing GSP all the way down to 155, which is going to really soak him dry. And who knows what kind of fighter we really get at that point. Khabib has all the chances in the world to really beat a GSP that's sucked dry that way. So very interesting. I'm sure you guys are like, I hope this happens. But a lot of people in media are like, that ain't going to happen. And I get the reasoning, but I think it's going to happen. Tell me what you guys think. All right. So next up, we have, let's see, what do we got? The DC Stipe 3. So we just saw DC talk about the fight. He does want to fight. Since he's been quiet, I kind of figured he's not retiring. I think he wants this one back. The whole John Jones thing, now with this additional loss, it doesn't seem as important anymore. When it was the only guy that beat you, that's pretty motivating. Now it's like, shit, I can't go out like that. So allow me to get this rubber match and basically try to win it. Stipe, he did an interview with Brian Campbell on CBS. By the way, Morning Combat, freaking love it. Brian Campbell, Luke Thomas, I saw that on The Beat. I was like, those guys would make an awesome pair. So that's like one of my new favorite shows. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely go check that out because that's a lot of laughs and great input as far as MMA goes, right? So talking with Stipe, he was like, yeah, whoever. It could be the third one, whatever, you know how Stipe is. So as long as the money is right, it sounds like this is going to happen. It's just a matter of time. We'll probably get it this year, not too far. I won't talk too much about what will happen, but I will say this. If DC did do more wrestling, we would have had a different fight. I'm not saying Stipe couldn't have still gotten the win because, he could somehow get up and he could have done a lot of the damage that he did. There was still, round 4 or 5. Round 4 obviously is where it went down, but 5 rounds is a long time, and we really will see who does the best. And if DC is going to implement more of a ground game, really up his cardio, which if you heard on his interview with Ariel, that's the one thing he said he was going to change a little bit. You got to up that cardio. You got to expect a lot more grappling. You got to try to tire out Stipe on the ground rather than trying to stand up with the guy. He's a boxer at the end of the day. So the question for you guys, who wins that rubber match? Chances are this is what's going to happen. Unless you guys think otherwise, I'd like to hear what you guys think. If this doesn't happen, what would happen? And who wins that fight? All right. Let's see what else we got. Yeah. So this is now official. We got Brian Ortega, the Korean Zombie, out in Korea. So UFC, I mean, they've always done this, but UFC, obviously, just like we did Mexico just this past week. Um, um, Korea is going to be the next location where they're going to obviously headline a Korean. So they're doing a lot of this. Brian Ortega was supposed to be on the Mexican card, but now he's over here in Korea. But I'm excited. These are one of those cards where even Copenhagen, we're about to get into that, where they get a lot more of the local guys. And then they throw in a few recognizable names that they'll actually fly out. So I'm okay with that. At the end of the day, these are the free ones / ESPN Plus, which, $5 a month. That's nothing. Come on. So I'm just excited overall for this announcement. I'm excited to see Brian Ortega. The Korean Zombie, he's no slouch on the ground. He's definitely a killer on the feet. Ortega's stand-up, actually, I really liked his boxing, but you can kind of tell versus Max, it just, he's got to work out them blocks a little bit more. But I'm sure that's a big thing he's been working on. I don't really think he needs to sharpen his tools on the ground too much. He just needs to keep them fresh, and he's always going to be dangerous there. So I think we're going to get a new Brian Ortega against a game opponent, Korean Zombie, who's as tough as they come. So I'm super excited. That 5 rounds of that, I'm down. So that's just a new announcement that I'm excited for. All right, what's next? The next up is just to really get hyped up for this Friday. So, all right. So I know that there's like hardcores, and then there's your casuals. And so I don't really expect casuals to really say anything nice or about the fight nights and that type of thing. Hardcores, I figure, are the ones that are watching this right now, and your guys' input is what I like the most. Casual people, they're the ones I feel like are more of the trolls, and they just, Jeremy Stevens quit. Like, really? Casual. He got sliced in the eyes, dude. You just don't know. So this particular card, I always hear like these fight nights, oh, the card's not even that great, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's not a pay-per-view. I know they're going to stack the deck and all this craziness, but there's definitely good fights to watch, and there's good knowable names that are going to happen. So as far as the main event, I'll just tell you, Jack Hermanson, the Joker versus Cannonier, that's just an amazing, great fight. Obviously, these guys are getting closer and closer to this top 5 area. If anything, Cannonier's really got the bigger opportunity here. Somebody very well might get knocked out. Cannonier, even when I think he was a heavyweight is where he started, man, he can take some punishment. He gives that punishment. He's just a tough guy to beat completely. But Jack Hermanson, he's been killing everybody on the way. So this is just a great fight. Obviously, I don't know if they will crack the top 5 or anything, but this really is a fight where if they show up, they're going to be a great contender. A big shout out right here is for my boy Suave, because Suave, here's a little picture for him so I can show you guys. So in one of the little cards up here somewhere, if you go back, it's already been a few years. I saw Nolan fight at one of the local shows around here and just saw his technique. I was like, dude, this kid is going to be great. So I started following him. I hit him up. That's how I got the interview with him. I interviewed him a few times. So him specifically, considering now that he's in the UFC, he did the whole Rose thing that he did before. Actually, he got in the UFC, so it was great to see him do it again. His shirts are also on rated101.com. So I support him. He supports me. Not only is he a great guy, but he is a great fighter. If you guys recall, he fought Chito Vera. It was a short notice fight. I think he had about a week and gave Chito a freaking hell. So he's a great fighter, obviously out of AKA. So I'm excited for him because he's going to be fighting. But I got a couple other fights for hopefully to get you guys excited. If you guys are hardcore MMA fans, you guys should know some of these names. If you don't, these are at least some people that you should actually check out. So first off, let's see here. We already talked about the main event. There's Nolan Suave. And keep this in mind. Suave is actually going against Jack Shore. He's an undefeated fighter, 11-0. So beautiful next fight for Suave. There's no easy fights in the UFC. That's for dang sure. Mark Diakese and Lando Venata. So there's going to be kicks, spinning, craziness. All right. So if you guys like that spinning shit, but two great fighters, tough, experienced, and flashy, that's what you want to see. That's and actually, I think that's even on the prelims, which is pretty crazy. Mark Diakese, Lando Venata, don't miss that. Gunnar Nelson, I'm actually a fan of Gunnar Nelson. I've always enjoyed his ground work that he does, his stand-up style. Overall, and he's a great guy. So I'm just a fan of his. He's going to be on the main card versus Gilbert Byrne. What is it? Ion Kutalaba, the Hulk. I'll never forget him because when he got dressed up in green, if you guys didn't see him, he weighed in green. And since he's freaking ripped, he looked like the Hulk. He's going against Khalil Roundtree. He was actually on the Joe Rogan podcast. Just a super cool guy. He was in the Ultimate Fighter, and now he's only been getting better and better. Did get the loss to, his name escapes me right now. It's the guy they're talking about fighting John Jones and all of that, and then he did the worm and hurt his shoulder. His name escapes me right now, but Khalil Roundtree is no joke. He did get that brutal knockout, but he came back killing right when he got back. OSP is always nice. He has a different style. I wouldn't consider it necessarily exciting, but it can be exciting. He's obviously a light heavyweight. He's a big dude. Great kicks, great submissions. So I'm always down to watch something like that. Alex Oliveira, another guy that just always comes to fight. Cowboy, the other cowboy. Flashy in a little way, high energy, long, lanky, crazy style. And he always keeps improving as well. And so the card's actually not that bad, so let's try not to talk crap. Let's talk about what's good about the event. Let's put our focus on the good stuff. The bad, if it's bad, then don't worry about it. Push it to the side. Let's keep it positive. Thank you guys for, again, watching this week's episode. I would like to do a little bit more, as you can see with my media and photos and all of that. It takes time to put all this together. So if you could like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff, leave a comment, answer these questions that I got here for you. I would really appreciate it. I'm going to keep rolling with this. We'll keep getting some guests as well. If there's certain people that you'd like to hear from, I'm no stranger to reaching out, but I also know a handful of guys that are in this Bay Area, San Jose area, or even 209 is where I live, son. So thank you guys again. Check this out. Hold on. I got an end screen too. Boom. 1% better every day, baby. So those are all the social links. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time. Peace.